My name is Danny, and I need someone to hear this before I convince myself it didn't happen. I work night security at a biotech research building in Ohio. 3 months ago, they installed a new wing on sub-level 2, restricted cellular research, the badge reader called it. I wasn't cleared to go in. I wasn't supposed to want to. It started small. I'd hear my own footsteps behind me in the parking garage, a half-second late, like an echo that didn't know its timing. Then one night, at 3 a.m., the break room television turned on by itself. The security feed was looping, except it wasn't looping. It was live, and it showed me, standing in the break room, watching the television. I was standing in the hallway at the time. I told myself it was a glitch. Cameras get delayed. People convince themselves of a lot of things at 3 a.m. But 2 nights later, I found a jacket in my locker that wasn't mine, except it was. Same coffee stain on the left cuff from the diner spill in April. Same frayed thread by the zipper. I never bought 2 jackets. I started staying later, watching the halls instead of my post. That's when I saw the door on sub-level 2 standing open for the first time. Inside, rows of tanks, dim blue light, and paperwork with my name on it. Not Daniel Reyes, security, just Subject 4, Reyes. Dated 11 months before I was hired. I ran. I made it to the stairwell, and that's when I heard it. My own voice, calling my name from the floor below, patient, almost gentle. Danny, you don't have to run. We're the same. I just got here first. I didn't look back. I quit the next morning. I moved apartments, changed my number. Last week, my mother called. She said I'd visited her Tuesday night for dinner, like always. Complimented her cooking, kissed her on the cheek before I left. I was 3 states away on Tuesday night. I haven't slept with the lights off since. When my sister Claire came home from her semester abroad, something was wrong before she even said a word. She hugged our mother for exactly as long as our mother hugged her. Not a second more, not a second less. Like she was counting. She laughed at my dad's jokes on the beat every time, like she'd rehearsed it. And she called me Michael instead of Mikey for the first time in 22 years. I told myself, jet lag, culture shock, people change. But small things kept surfacing. She didn't flinch at the dog anymore, even though Claire had been terrified of dogs since she was 6, and one bit her at a birthday party. She ate mushrooms without asking if they were mushrooms, though she'd been allergic her whole life. When I brought it up, our mother waved it off. She's just different now, sweetheart. People come back from a trip changed. Late one night, I found her, Claire, or whatever she was, standing in the backyard, perfectly still, facing the tree line behind our house. Not doing anything. Just standing, facing the dark, like she was listening for something only she could hear. I asked her what she was doing. She turned around slowly, and for 1/2 second, before her face resolved into my sister's familiar smile, I swear her expression was blank, a mask still settling into place, like a mannequin's face catching up to a new order. "Waiting for the others," she said. Then she smiled, and it was Claire's smile again, warm and easy. "Just kidding, Mikey. Couldn't sleep." I laughed it off. Everyone did. But that night I went looking through her suitcase, and at the very bottom, wrapped in a shirt I didn't recognize, I found a photograph of our house, taken from the tree line, at night, from the exact spot where I'd found her standing. The photo was dated 3 years ago. Claire didn't study abroad until this year. I still live in that house. My sister still lives there too, or something wearing her face does. I've stopped trying to catch her doing something wrong. Now I just watch the tree line at night, and I wait to see who else comes home. I bought my house at a foreclosure auction outside Tucson. Cheap, fast, no questions asked, which should have told me something. The auctioneer wouldn't meet my eyes when he handed me the keys. The first week, an elderly neighbor stopped me at the mailbox and asked, "Are you staying long?" When I said I'd just moved in, she nodded like that confirmed something and told me to keep my curtains closed at night. I laughed. She didn't. That same week, I found a locked door in the basement that wasn't on the blueprints. The realtor swore she didn't know it existed. Swore it so fast I believed the opposite. I broke the lock myself, and behind it was a narrow room lined with filing cabinets, stamped Halcyon Labs, property, do not discard. The room was cold, not basement cold. Refrigerated cold, like something in it still needed preserving. Inside the cabinets, photographs of a man. Hundreds of them, going back further than photographs should reasonably go. A few looked like tin types, brittle at the edges, the same face staring out from the 1800s in a stiff collar. Sometimes two of him in the same photo, shaking hands, standing at a graveside together. One always slightly duller in the eyes, like a photocopy of a photocopy. In one, taken at a birthday party, there were 3 of him at the same table, and none of the other guests seemed to notice. Underneath the photographs was a small tape recorder and a box of reels labeled only with dates. I shouldn't have played one. A man's voice, breathing hard, whispering the same line over and over. They already replaced her. I don't know when it happened. Then 11 minutes of tape hiss, then his voice again. Calm now, flat, wishing whoever found the tape good luck with the transition. The files described the maintenance protocol. When the original degraded, their word, past a usable threshold, a copy was activated to replace him in his own life. Job, marriage, even his own funeral, attended by the version that came after, weeping in the front row, inheriting the grief along with everything else. One memo, titled "Handling Objections from Spouses," noted how long it typically took a wife to stop noticing the difference. Average, 6 weeks. Files dated as recently as 8 months ago. There was a ledger, too, a list of houses. Mine was on it, 3rd from the bottom. Site retired. Asset relocated. Beneath it, in different ink, subject unaware of prior cycles. Recommend standard reveal. I didn't understand prior cycles. I do now, and I wish I didn't. That night I heard someone in my kitchen. A man stood at my counter, drinking from my mug, wearing clothes I recognized from the photographs, pressed like they'd never been worn. He smiled with a patience that had nothing to do with comfort, the way a doctor smiles right before he tells you something's wrong. "You weren't supposed to find the room," he said. "We pick the houses carefully, quiet streets, people who don't ask their neighbors questions." He glanced toward the dark house next door. "She knows better than to ask." I asked him what he was. "Maintenance," he said. "Halcyon likes its assets kept current. I've been 6 different men in 40 years. I'm between assignments, so I'm using your kitchen. I'll be gone by morning." He studied me, the way you'd study a photograph you weren't sure you recognized. "You have a very particular look about you. Halcyon likes particular looks. Efficient, reuse of good material." Then, almost gently, "This isn't your first cycle. It's just the first one you're old enough to remember properly." I didn't understand until later, lying awake, running my hands over my own face in the dark, wondering whether it had ever belonged to me, and whether this was the first time I'd wondered that, or simply the first time I remembered wondering. He was gone by morning. So was the room, sealed with drywall so seamless I'd swear it never existed, if not for the paint smell that never faded, and a cold draft through the wall every night at exactly 3 a.m., like something behind it was still breathing, waiting its turn. I sold the house within the month. The new owners never complained about anything strange, which frightened me more than if they had. I tried to find the old neighbor later to ask what she'd meant. Her house had new owners too. Nobody could tell me where she'd gone, only that she'd left rather suddenly, curtains wide open. Last week, at a gas station 400 miles away, I saw him again, behind the counter, ringing up a stranger's order, a name tag that wasn't his. He found my eyes in the convex security mirror and smiled, patient as ever, like my name was written down in a ledger somewhere, a note beside it not yet filled in. I haven't stopped driving since. 2 nights ago, at a motel outside Flagstaff, the woman at the front desk called me by a name that wasn't mine. "Mr. Holloway, welcome back," and smiled exactly like he did. I called my mother that night, just to hear a voice that would know me. She picked up, warm as ever, and said, "There you are." I was starting to wonder which one of you would call first. I haven't called her back. I don't know which one of us she was talking to. I don't know which one of us I am.